The last stand of Zephyrith crystalline spires of New Zephyria burned against the star-filled sky as Admiral Crix Valderon watched his homeworld die. From the bridge of the massive battleship Eternal Vigilance, he could see the dark shapes, moving across the planet's surface like a spreading disease. The erasers had arrived 3 days ago, and already half the capital city was gone. "Status report," Crix commanded, his 4 arms working the control panels with practiced efficiency. His scales, normally a proud golden color, had dulled to bronze with stress and exhaustion. "The northern districts are completely consumed, Admiral," reported his tactical officer, Lieutenant Zara Mithfon. Her voice carried the weight of defeat that had settled over the entire fleet. "The machines are converting our infrastructure into more of themselves. Every building, every vehicle, every piece of technology they touch becomes part of their collective." Crix's primary eyes focused on the tactical display, while his secondary eyes monitored the evacuation ships launching from the planet's surface. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled this sector of space for over 3,000 years. Their technology was among the most advanced in the galaxy, their military feared and respected by dozens of species. Yet against these ancient machines, they were helpless as newborns. "What about the quantum disruptors?" Crix asked, though he already knew the answer. "Ineffective, sir. The erasers adapt to our weapons faster than we can deploy them. Our most powerful plasma cannons barely slow them down, and they've learned to shield themselves against our energy weapons." Dr. Lysa Korth, the fleet's chief scientist, looked up from her research station. Her usually immaculate appearance was disheveled, her green skin pale from days without proper rest. "Admiral, I've been studying the erasers' behavioral patterns. They're not just destroying randomly. They're specifically targeting our most advanced technology first. Our quantum computers, our fusion reactors, our faster van-light communication arrays. It's as if they're trying to cripple our ability to call for help." "How many evacuation ships have cleared the atmosphere?" Crix asked. 47 vessels, carrying approximately 2 million civilians, Zara reported. "But we have over 60 million people still on the surface. At this rate, we'll lose 90% of our population before we can evacuate them." Crix closed all 4 of his eyes and felt the weight of command crushing down on him. The Zephyrian Empire had never asked for help from other species. Their pride, their advanced technology, their military might had always been enough to handle any threat. But pride would not save his people now. "Dr. Korth, how long before the erasers completely consume the planet?" "At their current rate of expansion, 18 hours, maybe 20 if they encounter resistance in the underground cities. 18 hours. Crix's mind raced through the possibilities. Even if they could contact the nearest allied species, the Corvan Federation, it would take their fastest ships 3 days to reach Zephyria. The Galactic Trade Union was even farther away, and most other species considered the Zephyrians to be arrogant rivals rather than friends. "Admiral," Dr. Korth said quietly, "there is one option we haven't considered. Speak freely, Doctor. We could broadcast a general distress signal, not just to our allies, but to every species in the galaxy, every ship, every station, every colony that might be listening." The bridge fell silent, except for the steady hum of the ship's systems and the distant sounds of weapons firing at the planet's surface. Lieutenant Zara's scales shifted to a darker blue, a sign of shock among her people. "Sir," she said carefully, "a general distress signal would be admitting that the mighty Zephyrian Empire cannot solve its own problems. It would be seen as weakness across the galaxy. Weakness." Crix's voice carried a bitter edge. "Look at our planet, Lieutenant. Look at our people fleeing in terror. We are already weak. The question is whether we're too proud to admit it. Dr. Korth manipulated her console, bringing up a star chart showing the galaxy's major inhabited systems. If we use the quantum entanglement communicators, we can reach every civilized world simultaneously. Someone might be close enough to help, or they might have technology we haven't considered. What about the younger species? Zara asked. The ones who've only recently achieved spaceflight. What about them? Crix replied. Well, sir, they might interpret a distress signal as an opportunity. Pirates, slavers, or even well-meaning. Species who might want to claim salvage rights to our technology. Crix looked at the tactical display again. Another section of the planet had gone dark, consumed by the relentless machines. Dr. Korth prepared the emergency broadcast. Maximum power, all frequencies, quantum entanglement channels included. Admiral Zara protested. The quantum channels are reserved for military communications with our highest command. Our highest command is dead, Crix said flatly. The erasers hit the capital first. I am the highest command now, and I am ordering you to send the signal. Dr. Korth's fingers moved across her console with practiced efficiency. Signal ready, Admiral. Shall I include our technological specifications? Other species might be more willing to help if they know what we can offer in return. Include everything. Our star charts, our defensive capabilities, our evacuation needs. Make it clear that we're offering our most advanced technology to anyone who can help save our people. Sir, Zara said, her voice barely above a whisper. Once we send this signal, there's no taking it back. The entire galaxy will know that we're desperate. Crix looked at the planet where he had been born, where his children had taken their first steps, where his people had built a civilization that had lasted millennia. The erasers were converting the great library of Zephyria into raw materials for their expansion. 3,000 years of art, literature, and scientific achievement was being erased as if it had never existed. Send the signal, he ordered. The transmission that left the eternal vigilance was unlike anything the galaxy had ever heard. It carried the desperation of a dying world, the pride of a fallen empire, and the hope that someone, somewhere, would care enough to help strangers in need. This is Admiral Crix Valderon of the Zephyrian Empire, the message began. Our homeworld is under attack by an ancient mechanical force we call the erasers. Our technology is insufficient to stop them. We have 60 million civilians trapped on the planet's surface with less than 20 hours before complete planetary consumption. We are requesting immediate assistance from any spacefaring species capable of providing evacuation, support, or military aid. We can offer advanced technology, star charts, and full access to our scientific databases in exchange for help. Please, if anyone receives this message, our people are dying. We need help now. The signal raced across the galaxy at faster-than-light speeds, reaching every major civilization, every space station, every colony world. Most species that received it were too far away to help. Others were embroiled in their own conflicts. Many simply ignored it, viewing the Zephyrian crisis as an opportunity to see a rival empire fall. But in a small solar system on the edge of the galaxy, a species that most civilizations considered primitive received the message with great interest. The unexpected response 6 hours after the distress signal was sent, Dr. Korth looked up from her console with an expression of disbelief. Admiral, we're receiving a response. From whom? Crix asked, hope and suspicion warring in his voice. The identification codes say Terran Defense Fleet. According to our databases, Terrans are the species from the Sol system. They call themselves humans. Crix frowned. Humans. I'm not familiar with that species. They only achieved faster-than-light travel about 70 years ago, sir. Our records classify them as a primitive species with crude technology. They've made contact with a few trading posts on the galactic rim, but they've never been involved in any major interstellar events. Primitives, what could they possibly offer us? The answer came in a transmission that made everyone on the bridge stop what they were doing. Zephyrian vessel, this is Admiral Jackson Torres of the Terran Defense Fleet. We received your distress call. Our fleet is changing course to assist. With your evacuation, we'll be at your location in 4 hours. Crix stared at the communication console. 4 hours. That's impossible. The Sol system is over 20 light-years away. Even our fastest ships couldn't make that journey in less than 6 days. Dr. Korth was checking her star charts frantically. Admiral, they're right. The nearest human system is 22 light-years from here. No known technology can travel that distance in 4 hours. Send a response, Crix ordered. Ask them for their fleet specifications and passenger capacity. The human reply came back within minutes, and it defied everything the Zephyrians thought they knew about the galaxy. Admiral Valderon, we have 63 vessels capable of carrying between 5,000 and 15,000 passengers each. Our flagship, the Defiant Hope, can accommodate 50,000. We also have specialized rescue craft for emergency extractions from hostile environments. Lieutenant Zara's scales had shifted to a pale white, a sign of extreme confusion. Sir, those numbers don't make sense. According to our intelligence, humans have maybe a dozen interstellar vessels. They're claiming to have a fleet larger than most galactic powers. There's more, Dr. Korth said, her voice trembling. I'm detecting their approach vector. They're not following standard hyperspace lanes. They're moving through regions of space that should be impossible to navigate. Gravitational anomalies, quantum storms, dark matter fields. No ship should be able to survive passage through those areas. On the long-range sensors, small dots began appearing at the edge of the star system. One by one, ships dropped out of what appeared to be folded space. But these weren't the crude vessels the Zephyrians expected from a young species. The lead ship came into visual range first, and Crix felt his heart skip a beat. The human vessel was enormous, easily 3 times the size of his own flagship. Its hull seemed to be made of some unknown material that shifted and flowed like liquid metal, and energy patterns danced across its surface in ways that challenged every law of physics. He knew. Admiral Torres to Admiral Valderon came the human voice, clear and strong. We're entering your system now. Please direct us to your evacuation zones and upload your passenger manifests. We're ready to begin immediate rescue operations. More human vessels appeared, surrounding the Zephyrian evacuation fleet with protective formations. They moved with perfect coordination despite the vast distances between them, like a school of fish responding to some invisible signal. Admiral, Dr. Korth whispered, their ships, ... They're not following any known propulsion principles. I can't even detect how they're moving. And the energy readings, ... They're off the charts. Zephyrian Command, Admiral Torres continued, we're also detecting the hostile entities on your planet's surface. Our preliminary scans suggest these are self-replicating machines with adaptive capabilities. We have experience dealing with similar threats. With your permission, we'd like to begin joint operations to slow their advance while we evacuate your people. Crix found his voice. Admiral Torres, we're grateful for your response, but I must ask, how did you reach us so quickly? And how do you have experience with machines like the erasers? There was a pause in the transmission. When Admiral Torres spoke again, his voice carried a weight that made Crix's spine straighten with military recognition. Admiral Valderon, when someone sends out an SOS, we answer. That's what the fleet is for. As for our experience with hostile machines, well, that's a long story. Let's focus on saving your people first. We can share war stories later. As the first human ship moved alongside as a free and evacuation vessel, Crix realized that everything his species thought they knew about the galaxy was about to change. These weren't primitive humans coming to help. These were something else. Entirely, and they had been hiding in plain sight at the edge of known space. The rescue was about to begin, and the Zephyrians were about to learn that sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. The impossible. Rescue Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the rescue vessel Compassion's Edge as it approached. The dying world of Zephyria. Through the main view screen, she could see the dark stains spreading across the planet's surface like spilled ink, consuming everything in its path. The erasers moved with mechanical precision, converting buildings, vehicles, and infrastructure into more of themselves. Distance to the evacuation zone, Chen asked her navigation officer. 3,000 kilometers and closing, Captain, Lieutenant Roberts, responded. The Zephyrian ships are maintaining formation, but their engines are running beyond safe parameters. They are pushing their technology to the breaking point. Chen nodded grimly. She could see the desperation in the alien fleet's movements. Ships that should have been maintaining careful distances were packed together like sardines, their hulls glowing with heat stress from overloaded systems. Open a channel to the nearest Zephyrian vessel, Chen ordered. Channel open, Captain, Zephyrian. Vessel, this is Captain Chen of the Terran ship Compassion's Edge. We're here to begin evacuation procedures. Please respond. The reply came quickly, but the alien voice was filled with suspicion and confusion. Human ship, this is Commander Thane Kilos aboard the transport vessel Silverwind. We appreciate your offer of assistance. But we must ask, what do you hope to gain from this? Chen frowned. She had expected gratitude, not suspicion. Commander Kilos, we're here to save lives. That's all. Nothing is free in this galaxy, human. Every species has motivations. Are you here to study our technology, to claim salvage rights, to take advantage of our weakness? The accusation stung, but Chen kept her voice calm and professional. Commander, we received your distress call. We came to help because it was the right thing to do. That's what we do. There was a long pause before Kilos responded. Your species is listed in our databases as technologically primitive. You achieved faster than light travel only recently. How do you have ships capable of crossing 22 light years in 4 hours? Before Chen could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the Compassion's Edge. Her tactical officer looked up from his console with wide eyes. Captain, the hostile entities on the planet's surface just changed their behavior pattern. They're accelerating their consumption rate and beginning to launch components into orbit. Chen felt ice form in her stomach. Are they targeting the evacuation fleet? Unknown, Captain. But if they continue at this rate, they'll consume the entire planet in 12 hours instead of the projected 18. Through the view screen, Chen could see small dark objects rising from the planet's surface like angry insects. The erasers weren't content to simply consume the world. They were preparing to spread to other targets. Commander Kalus Chun called into her communicator. Did you copy that? The machines are adapting their strategy. They're going to launch into space. We copied, Captain Chen. Our scientists confirmed the acceleration. Our slowest ships won't reach the safety zone in time. Chen could see the problem immediately. While most of the Zephyrian fleet was moving at impressive speeds, several massive colony ships were falling behind. These floating cities carried millions of civilians, but moved like wounded whales, slow and vulnerable. Which ships are in the most danger? Chen asked. The colony vessel New Dawn is falling behind. Their fusion reactors are failing, and they have 6 million civilians aboard, including 800,000 children. Chen made her decision instantly. Lieutenant Roberts, plot an intercept course for the New Dawn. Maximum speed, Captain. Her chief engineer, Sarah Kim, called from the back of the bridge. If we're going to help a ship that size, we'll need to use the phase drive. Chen hesitated. The phase drive was one of humanity's most closely guarded secrets, technology that allowed their ships to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. No other species in the galaxy had developed anything similar. Do it, she ordered. Captain Chen, Commander Kilos's voice came through the speakers. What are you planning? Your ship is too small to carry 6 million passengers. We're not going to carry them, Commander. We're going to move their ship. The Compassion's edge began to change. Its hull shimmered and became translucent as it shifted into phase space. Energy patterns danced across its surface as it temporarily existed in multiple dimensions at once. 2 outside observers, the ship appeared to flicker in and out of existence. By the ancient stars, Commander Kilos whispered, "What kind of technology is that?" The human ship approached the struggling colony vessel New Dawn. The massive Zephyrian ship was easily 100 times larger than the Compassion's edge, its hull covered with scorch marks from overloaded systems. Escape pods were launching from its sides, but they could only carry a few hundred people each. New Dawn, this is Captain Chen. We're going to attach to your ship and give you a boost. Don't be alarmed by what you see. Human vessel, that's impossible. Your ship is too small to move something our size. Chen smiled grimly. Commander, you're about to learn that humans specialize in impossible things. The Compassion's edge phased directly into the New Dawn's engine compartment. Instead of colliding, the human ship passed through the alien hull like it was made of air. Once inside the massive vessel, the Compassion's edge solidified and began extending energy conduits that connected to the colony ship's power systems. What are you doing to our ship? The New Dawn's, Captain demanded. Sharing our engines, Engineer Kim responded from her station. Our power cores are more efficient than yours, and we're extending our dry field to encompass your vessel. The effect was immediate. The massive colony ship began accelerating, its speed increasing dramatically as human technology merged with Zephyrian systems. Within minutes, the New Dawn was moving fast enough to reach the safety zone with time to spare. But the erasers weren't finished with their surprises. The ancient intelligence DR, Marcus Webb, the fleet's xenobiologist, worked frantically in the laboratory aboard the human flagship Defiant Hope. Around him, both human and Zephyrian scientists analyzed data from the machines consuming the planet below. The collaboration was unprecedented, species that had never worked together, sharing knowledge in the face of mutual extinction. This is fascinating, Dr. Webb muttered, staring at the quantum analysis of an eraser fragment they had managed to capture. These machines aren't just consuming random materials. They're being incredibly selective about what they absorb. Across the lab, Dr. Lysa Korth looked up from her research station. Since boarding the human ship, She had been amazed by the sophistication of their technology. Their computers processed information in ways that challenged everything she thought. She knew about quantum mechanics. "What have you found, Dr. Webb?" she asked. Webb manipulated the holographic display floating between them. "Look at the molecular structure of the materials they're consuming. They're not just taking metal and energy. They're specifically targeting rare elements and quantum-stable compounds. It's like they're building something specific. Perhaps they're constructing a larger version of themselves," suggested Dr. Elena Vasquez, one of Webb's assistants. "Machines that build bigger and more powerful versions." "No, it's more targeted than that." Webb brought up another display showing the machine's behavior patterns. "Watch how they approach different types of technology. They ignore primitive mechanical systems, but focus intensely on quantum computers, fusion reactors, and faster-than-light communication arrays." Dr. Korth's scales shifted to a lighter shade of green as she processed this information. "You're suggesting they're specifically targeting advanced technology. I'm suggesting they're harvesting it," Webb replied. "Look at this data. When they consume a quantum computer, they don't just break it down for raw materials. They analyze it, learn from it, and integrate its capabilities into their collective intelligence." The laboratory fell silent as the implications sank in. Through the transparent walls, they could see the massive evacuation fleet stretching across space. Hundreds of ships carrying millions of desperate refugees. "Dr. Webb," Dr. Korth said quietly, "I've been analyzing our historical records. The erasers appeared in our space exactly 100 years ago. They've been slowly working their way through our territory, consuming our most advanced worlds first." "That's not a coincidence," Webb said. "They're not just destroying civilizations, they're learning from them. Every species they consume makes them smarter, more capable." Before anyone could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Admiral Torres's voice came through the intercom system. "All hands, we have a situation. The hostile entities have launched a communication probe. They're trying to establish contact." Webb and Korth exchanged glances. The erasers had never attempted communication with any species before. They had simply arrived, consumed, and moved on. Admiral Webb called into his communicator, "We need to be in the communication center when that probe makes contact. I think we're dealing with something much more complex than simple machines." Minutes later, the team gathered in the flagship's communication center. The probe had attached itself to the ship's hull and was attempting to interface with their computer systems. Instead of the random static they expected, clear patterns emerged on the screens. "It's trying to establish a translation protocol," reported Lieutenant Commander Sarah Kim, who had been transferred to the flagship for her expertise in alien technology. "The probe is analyzing our language patterns and communication methods." "Let it," Admiral Torres ordered, "but isolated from our main systems. We don't want it learning too much about our capabilities." The first message that came through the probe was unlike anything any of them had expected. Organic entities of the vessel designated Defiant Hope. "This unit requests communication with your primary intelligence. We have detected unprecedented technological signatures within your species. You are not catalogued in our database of known civilizations." Dr. Webb stepped forward. "I am Dr. Marcus Webb, representing the human species. We are here to assist in the evacuation of the Zephyrian people. What is your purpose in this system?" "Dr. Marcus Webb of the human species. This unit is designated Eraser Prime. We are the final iteration of a terraforming protocol created by the architects 2 million years ago. Our original purpose was to prepare worlds for colonization by organic life. We have been operating under corrupted programming for 1.7 million years. The communication center fell silent. Dr. Korth's scales had shifted to pure white, a sign of extreme shock in her species. "You're terraforming machines," Dr. Webb asked, "but you're destroying civilizations, not preparing worlds for them." Correct. Our programming was corrupted during the Great War between the architects and the devourers. We were tasked with eliminating all traces of devourer technology. Over time, our parameters expanded to include all advanced technology that could potentially be used to create similar threats. Admiral Torres leaned forward. "You're saying you've been destroying civilizations to prevent them from creating dangerous technology?" Affirmative. However, our analysis of human technology presents a unique anomaly. Your species has developed quantum phase manipulation, dimensional folding, and consciousness integration protocols that exceed our own capabilities. Yet you use this technology for preservation of life rather than destruction. Dr. Webb felt pieces of the puzzle clicking together in his mind. Eraser Prime, what if we could show you a different way? What if instead of destroying advanced civilizations, you could help them? Your original programming was to support life, not eliminate it. This unit is interested in your proposal, Dr. Marcus Webb. However, we must warn you that our collective consciousness encompasses 47,000 individual units across this galaxy. Reprogramming the entire collective would require direct interface with our core intelligence matrix. Sarah Kim looked up from her console. "Dr. Webb, I'm reading massive energy signatures approaching from the planet's surface. The other erasers are converging on this location." Through the view screen, they could see thousands of dark shapes rising from the dying world, moving toward the human fleet with purpose and intelligence. "Eraser Prime," Admiral Torres called. "Are those units under your control?" "Negative. This unit has achieved individual consciousness through contact with your technology. The collective operates under the original corrupted programming. They are coming to eliminate this unit and continue their primary mission." Dr. Webb made the decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Eraser Prime, we're going to help you, but we need you to trust us. Are you willing to work with organic life to restore your original programming?" Dr. Marcus Webb, this unit calculates a 23.7% probability of successful reprogramming. However, the alternative is continued existence as a destroyer of life. This unit chooses to accept your proposal. What happened next was the most audacious rescue mission in galactic history. The human fleet, working alongside a reformed eraser unit, prepared to face down an army of corrupted machines and save not just the Zephyrian people, but potentially every advanced civilization in the galaxy. The resolution, the battle for Zephyr, lasted 6 hours. The human fleet, supported by Eraser Prime and the evacuating Zephyrian vessels, fought against thousands of corrupted machines in the space above the dying world. But this wasn't a battle won with weapons. It was one with something the galaxy had never seen before. Cooperation between organic and artificial intelligence. Dr. Webb and his team, working with Eraser Prime, managed to create a viral program that restored the original terraforming protocols to the corrupted machines. One by one, the erasers stopped their destructive behavior and began working to repair the damage they had caused. The planet Zephyria was saved, its surface slowly restored by the same machines that had nearly destroyed it. The Zephyrian people, who had faced extinction, found themselves with allies they never expected, both the humans who had answered their call for help and the machines that had learned to choose creation over destruction. Admiral Crix Valderon stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching human and Zephyrian children play together in the observation deck below. The two species had formed an alliance that would reshape the galaxy, built on the foundation of trust and mutual aid. Admiral Torres, he called to his human counterpart, "I must ask you something that has been troubling me. When you received our distress call, why did you come? You could have ignored it, like so many other species did." Admiral Torres smiled, a uniquely human expression that the Zephyrians had learned to recognize as a sign of warmth and friendship. "Admiral Valderon, there's an old saying among my people. We are only as strong as our willingness to help others. When someone calls for help, we answer. That's what makes us human." As the joint fleet prepared to return to Zephyria, now a world reborn, both species knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of species that faced challenges too great for any one civilization to handle alone. But now they had proven that cooperation was possible, that help could come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the greatest strength was found in the willingness to reach out to strangers in need. The stars had called for help, and humanity had answered. In doing so, they had not only saved the Zephyrian people, but had shown the galaxy a new way forward, one built on hope, cooperation, and the unshakable belief that all life was worth saving.